Welcome back to our explainer on the Billion Dollar Gambit Part 2. So,
Okay, let's dive into this. $100 billion. Just let the sheer, awe-inspiring weight of that 12-figure balance truly sink in for a second. I mean, it's a number so incomprehensibly massive, it completely defies logic, right? It defies everyday reality. One followed by 11 zeros, sitting right there, cleared and totally available in your personal checking account. It's literally staring back at you from the screen, basically daring you to blink, daring you to somehow make sense of the impossible fortune you suddenly possess. You close the app, you force close it, you open it again, swipe down to refresh the server. But the truth is, this isn't a glitch. The balance remains perfectly, stubbornly intact. The impossible has become your permanent reality. You're now holding a fortune that honestly rivals the GDP of entire nations, and there is absolutely zero rational explanation for it. You're caught in this moment where your entire world has just shifted on its axis, and you are completely, utterly alone with this reality-breaking information.
but then, boom, reality snaps back violently. Just a few seconds later, your phone aggressively buzzes in your shaking hand. A text message pops up from an unknown sender. Do not tell anyone. We are watching. Suddenly, this unimaginable financial fantasy morphs into an immediate, suffocating nightmare. I mean, who sent this? How could they possibly know about the money already? The creeping paranoia sets in instantly. The realization hits you like an absolute freight train. You're not alone in this, and whoever is pulling the strings has their eyes directly on you.
And this brilliantly illustrates the immediate, visceral response to extreme shock that the source material captures so incredibly well. Step 1. You freeze. It's that primal deer-in-the-headlights paralysis as your brain completely short-circuits. Step 2. Basic survival instincts kick in, pulling you to look out the window to scan for immediate danger. Step 3. The threat materializes. You spot a black SUV parked directly across the street, a vehicle that absolutely 100% was not there yesterday. And step 4, the fight-or-flight response takes over entirely, and you decide you have to leave the house immediately. It is a rapid-fire physical reaction to a sudden, terrifying stimulus.
This builds up a massive internal psychological battle. The human brain desperately tries to maintain its grip on normalcy. It's just a coincidence, you try to convince yourself. Someone's just visiting a neighbor, right? It's just a random car. But deep down inside, you know it isn't. Your primal instinct is screaming at you that this SUV is directly, inextricably connected to the 12 figures on your phone and that anonymous threat in your inbox. It's this terrifying war between your desperate need for rationalization and your undeniable gut instinct.
You know, what's really interesting here is how the source text meticulously uses specific sensory and physical details to make you, the viewer, physically feel the protagonist's heightening panic. For sight, we're grounded by the staring people and that ominous parked black SUV. For sound, it's the deafening, unnatural silence of the disconnected phone, violently interrupted by the mechanical buzzing of that text message. And physically, the shaking hands, the involuntary freezing in place, the literal feeling of your heart stopping. The source material doesn't just tell us the character is scared, it uses these physiological symptoms of absolute terror to directly transfer that dread into your own body.
So you're out the door, and the tension fundamentally shifts the second you're out in public. It escalates from a specific, localized threat, the SUV parked outside your house, to a generalized, overwhelming dread of the open space around you. On your way to the bank, something just feels incredibly, dangerously different. People walking by seem to be staring at you. Are they, or are you just totally imagining it? You are now actively questioning reality itself. You're trusting absolutely nothing and no one. The entire world, even your own familiar neighborhood, has suddenly become this hostile, unpredictable environment. The absolute second you step inside the bank, the pacing accelerates completely out of control. 0 minutes, you arrive, seeking answers. 1 minute, the branch manager is already greeting you before you can even reach the teller counter. 2 minutes, the manager checks your account on his screen. 5 minutes, you're being physically escorted away from the public floor and into a private office. It's a rapid, entirely out of control pacing. Your reality is shifting at warp speed, and you have zero agency over what is happening to you. The very institution that is supposed to provide clarity and security is instead aggressively accelerating the mystery. The manager looks at his monitor. His practiced, professional, welcoming smile just completely disappears from his face. He looks up at you with pure, unfiltered disbelief. And then he quietly says, "Sir, we've never seen anything like this before."
That reaction changes everything. The bank manager's utter disbelief completely validates your absolute terror. You aren't crazy. The glitch isn't a glitch. If the financial experts, the people who deal with money every single day, are terrified and bewildered, you know for a fact that you are in entirely uncharted, deeply dangerous waters. You're rushed into the private office. The heavy door clicks shut behind you. So the crucial point is what happens next. No questions, no explanations, just silence. You are completely, utterly isolated. You're locked in a quiet room, trapped with the impossible reality of $100 billion you definitely didn't earn, an anonymous watcher tracking your every move, and a financial institution that refuses to speak a single word to you. The silence in that room is heavier, more oppressive, and honestly more terrifying than any blaring alarm bell could ever be.
And then, the phone rings again. Another call cuts through the dead silence of the office. This time, you brace yourself and you answer. The line connects. A voice on the other end speaks. It isn't angry. It isn't aggressive or rushed. It is perfectly, horrifyingly calm. Congratulations. You passed the first test. Your heart completely stops in your chest. What test? What could they possibly mean by a test? You managed to leave your house and walk into a bank. How is that a test? The real game begins now. Which brings us to an ultimate provocative question. The real game begins now, but what is it? What do you think this heart-stopping reality will become next? Who is orchestrating this massive, flawless manipulation, and what exactly do they want with someone who was just forcefully gifted $100 billion? It's a masterful setup by the author that leaves us questioning absolutely everything. Think about what your next move would be. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this helped you grasp the gripping architecture of this story. See you next time.